Hi guys, welcome you all to my channel Explore Edu to Teach. So today we'll be taking another important concept in control system called as the root locus. So basically I have divided this concept into two videos. One video is going to be out today and there's going to be another video which will be coming in the future which will be on the numerical of the root locus. So in this particular video, of course, we'll be talking about some theoretical part of root locus. We'll be solving one simple numerical of it, wherein I'm going to give you a step-wise explanation of whatever theory we have learned in root locus onto the numerical. And then there's going to be another video coming up next week in which there's going to be a numerical being completely solved, a complex numerical in fact, with the help of the rules that we are going to learn today. So today, as I mentioned, we'll be learning the particular theory, some part of it, as well as a simple numerical wherein you can apply that theory onto the numerical for better understanding. In the next video, we'll be having a complex numerical through which you can understand the topic better. So do not forget to watch both this video. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, as well as hit the bell icon so that next time when the new video is going to come out, you will be getting notified for the same. So let's begin with root locus. So what is root locus basically? Root locus is a graphical representation in S domain and it is symmetrical about x-axis. So basically we are going to describe with the help of a graph or open loop transfer function, that is g of s into h of s. I hope you know it by now. And it's going to be symmetrical about x-axis. So when we do a numerical on it, you'll have a better understanding about it. So what is the angle and the magnitude condition for root locus? So basically we are going to solve the root locus in the form of g of s into h of s, wherein my g of s and h of s are both open loop transfer function, and there are two conditions in case of my root locus, that is my angle of g of s into h of s is going to be a odd multiple of 180 degree plus or minus 180 degree, and the magnitude is going to be equal to 1. So I hope I am very clear with what is root locus. The root locus is basically a graphical representation in S domain and it is symmetrical about the x-axis. If I talk about the angle and the magnitude condition of root locus, a open loop transfer function g of s into h of s will be given to you. The angle is going to be a odd multiple of 180 degree, wherein you will have plus or minus 180 degree, plus or minus 540 degree, plus or minus 900 degree, so on and so forth. And the magnitude is going to be equal to 1. So let us try to apply this particular concept of angle and the magnitude condition of root locus onto a numerical, wherein you will have a better understanding about it. So what does the numerical say? So basically there is a g of s into h of s which is given as k upon s into s plus 2 into s plus 4. Find whether s is equal to minus 0.5 lies on the root locus or not, and find the value of k. So how do I first try to find out the value of s lies on the root locus or not? What I told you, if a particular point exists on the root locus, the angle of g of s into h of s will be an odd multiple of 180 degree. That is plus or minus 180 degree, plus or minus 540 degree, so on and so forth. So I'll try to substitute the value of minus 0.75 into the value of s. That is g of s into h of s is equal to k upon minus of 0.75 plus j0. I'm representing in the form of real plus imaginary. Then minus 0.75 plus 2 is 1.25 plus j0. Minus of 0.75 plus 4 is 3.25 plus j0. Find out the angle of the complete g of s into h of s. Angle of k is 0. Here you have to know how to find out the angle for x plus jy. So k plus j0 will be angle 0. Minus of 0.75 plus j0 lies in the second quadrant. Hence you will get 180 degree over here. Here it's going to be 0 degree, 0 degree. Hence it's going to be minus 180 degree. Since the particular angle condition satisfies minus 180 degree rule. Hence, I can say minus 0.75 lies on the root locus. So a particular point S was given to me. I am substituting that point of S over here and trying to find out the angle. Now the angle satisfies the odd multiple of 180 degree criteria, that is minus 180 degree, and hence I can say this particular point exists on root locus. The next point is find out the value of K. Now when to find out the value of K, the magnitude has to be equal to 1. So what am I going to do is that I am going to put this value, find out the magnitude of this entire thing equal to 1. So when I do it, I get K minus of 0.75 into 1.25 into 3.25 is going to be 3.04. So what am I doing is basically I am applying the angle and the magnitude condition. In the angle condition, basically I am going to find out whether my particular angle of g of s into h of s is equal to odd multiple of 180 degree or not. If so, that particular s value is lying on the root locus. And then if I want to find out the value of gain, k, in that case I am going to equate the magnitude of g of s into h of s equal to 1 and try to find out the answer. So I hope I am very clear with this. Now let us try to solve a particular numerical, a simple numerical of root locus, and let's see what are the steps. And once you understand this, then probably in the next video we can solve a full complex numerical on root locus. So the question will be g of s into h of s is k upon s into s plus 3 into s plus 6. Find out the root locus. So the step 1 is to find out the number of poles and zeros. The notes are present in the description box. You can download it from there. For now, just listen, make a note of it simultaneously in your notebook, solve with me simultaneously, you will get a better understanding, and then you can refer the notes which are present in the description box of this particular video. So step 1 is to find out the number of poles. The poles are 3, right? S is equal to 0, S is equal to minus 3, S is equal to minus 6. The number of zeros are 0 because there is no 0 over here. Hence the number of branches is given as P minus Z, that is 3 minus 0 is equal to 3. The branches will always start from the pole and will end at 0. Now I have 3 poles, so the branches will start from the pole. But since there are no 0 for it to terminate or it to end at, it will end at infinite. I hope I am very clear to you. So once a g of s into h of s is given to you, first try to find out the number of poles, number of zeros. The branches will be given as p minus z, that is 3 minus 0 is 3. The branches will always start from poles and will end at 0. Since poles are there and there are no 0, my branches will start from pole. But since there are no 0 to terminate at, it will end at infinite. Now the pole 0 concept. Now if I try to plot the particular g of s into h of s onto a particular pole 0 plot, I'll get 0, minus 3, minus 6. This cross basically indicates a pole. Had there been a 0, I would have indicated it with a 0 mark. But since there are no 0 over here, I have 0, minus 3, minus 6. I hope I'm very clear with this. Now, if the number of poles and zeros to the right hand side on the real axis is even, then that segment is on the not on the root locus, else it is on the root locus. So what does it say? First draw the pole 0 plot, mark all the poles and zeros. So if I consider one pole at a time, the number of poles and zeros to the right hand side of that particular pole, if they are equal to odd, then it is on the root locus or it is not on the root locus. So let us try to apply this. If I see this particular 0 pole, sorry, at 0, the number of 0 and poles to the right hand side is 0. Since 0 is an even number, it is not on the root locus. Minus 3 I take, minus 3 if I consider over here, the number of poles in 0 to the right hand side of the minus 3 is only one pole, that is odd. Therefore I have root locus. Now from minus 6 if I consider, the number of poles in 0 to the right hand side is 2 poles are there, which is even, hence it is not on the root locus, so on and so forth. So I hope I am very clear with this. Okay. The third point is to find out the angle of asymptotes. Okay. So branches which are approaching towards infinity, to do so towards straight line, are called as asymptotes. As I had told you that since I don't have any 0, my branches will cannot terminate at a 0, right? It will terminate at infinite. In that case, I require asymptotes. So for asymptotes, you need to find out the angle theta. The theta is given as 2q plus 1 into 180 degree upon p minus z, wherein my q will be equal to p minus z. Now my p is 3, my 0 is 0, and hence I have p minus 3, that is 3 minus 0 as 3. And hence I will put my value of q as 0, 1, 2. I won't be putting as 3 because I have only 3 value of my q. So I'll have 0, 1, 2. So since my p is 3 and my 0 is 0, I have 3. Hence I take value of my q as 0, 1, 2. Theta is 2q plus 1 into 180 degree upon p minus z. I take the value q as 0, I take as 1, I take as 2, and I get all these 3 angles. I hope I'm very clear with this. Next, I have the calculation of centroid. So what is centroid? Centroid is given as sigma, in which I have real part of pole minus summation of real part of 0 upon p minus z. Now what is my real part of my pole? I have 0, minus 3, minus 6, right? If I consider my g of s into h of s, I have 0, minus 3, minus 6. Hence I am substituting as 0, minus 3, minus 6. The real part of 0 will not exist because there are no zeros only. Hence there is minus 0 upon p minus z. That is, number of poles is 3, number of zeros are 0. Hence p minus z is 3 minus 0 is 3. That is minus 3. I hope I am very clear with this. Okay. So I'm just teaching you one step after the other. After the complete numerical, I'll give you a summary about it. So don't get confused. You will get a better understanding about it. The next thing is the calculation of breakaway or break-in point. So what is the calculation of breakaway or break-in point? Once you plot a particular a pole 0 plot, like for example, we have plot this particular pole 0 plot. To understand whether a breakaway or break-in point will exist or not, you have to check the following things. So if there are two poles and the region between them exists on the root locus, like I had two poles over here and the region existed between the root locus, in that case I will have a breakaway point, that is moving outside. If there are two zeros and the region between them exists on the root locus, then there will exist a break-in point. The arrow will be coming inside. And if there is a 0, okay, if in case there is a 0 and the region to the left hand side of it exists on the root locus, then there will exist one breakaway point. So that is what is written over here. If there are two poles or two zeros which are adjacent to each other and the region between them exists on the root locus, then there will exist a breakaway and a break-in point. And if there is a 0 and the region towards the left hand side of it exists on the root locus, then there will exist one breakaway point. So these are the rules to understand. Now the calculation of breakaway point. Now if you see over here, we have got the original pole 0 plot, right? This one I am taking over here. If you see, I have two poles and the region between them exists between the breakaway point, right? So a region between them exists as root locus, hence there will exist one breakaway point. So since there are two poles and the region between them exists on the root locus, there will exist one breakaway point. This is from rule number 1 we have got. Hence, to find out the breakaway point, I am going to do 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. 1 plus g of s into h of s is given to you. Try to find out the value of k. Differentiate this k with s and find out the value of s. The steps are given. You can go through it. It's present in the notes also. So if I put the value of s as minus 4.73 in k, I get minus of 10.39. If I put my value of s as minus of 1.26, I'll get k as 10.46. The value of s can only be a breakaway point when the corresponding value of k is positive. Since for s is equal to minus 1.26, my value of k is positive. My minus 1.26 is a valid breakaway point. Minus 4.73 would have also been a valid breakaway point if k would have been positive. But since k is not positive, my minus 1.26 is a valid breakaway point. I hope I am very clear with this. Now, intersection with the j omega axis. So try to find out 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. Get this equation. You should know the Routh-Hurwitz method. If you don't know, a video on Routh-Hurwitz method is already uploaded on my channel. Please go through it in the control system playlist. Just arrange it in the Routh-Hurwitz table format. If you find out the first column elements, k must be greater than 0 because all the first column elements must be positive. Also, my minus 162 minus k upon 9 should be greater than 0, which will give me k smaller than 162. Therefore, my k marginal value, that is the maximum value, will be 162. I'll put that over here, that is 9s square plus k marginal is equal to 0. What is my k marginal value? 162. And hence I get my value of SS plus or minus 4.24j. 4.24 is the value at which my root locus is going to intersect with the j omega axis. Now, the next step is to find out the angle of departure or the angle of arrival. The formula is given over here for departure as angle A 180 minus phi and arrival 180 plus phi. Phi is phi p minus phi z. Now, since there are no complex poles or zeros existing, I will not have my angle of arrival or departure. In the next numerical that we will solve in the next video, we'll have complex zeros and poles. In that case, we'll have the angle of departure and arrival both. So finally, we have this root locus. So if you look at this root locus, we have pole 0, minus 3, minus 6. We have angle of asymptotes, which is given as minus 3, right? We had got the angle, the centroid value as minus 3. Plus, we had got the angle as 60, 180 degree and 300 degree. And hence, we have minus 3 as the asymptote and the angle as 60 degree, 180 degree and 300 degree. I hope I'm very clear. And then we have a breakaway point. I'm sorry over here. It should be minus of 1.26, right? If you see the breakaway point calculation that we did, it should be minus of 1.26, not minus of 1.33. So take it as minus of 1.26. This is a mistake over here. Please make a note of it. And then it's going to move out and hit the j omega axis at plus or minus 4.24. And in such a way, from all these steps, we get a final root locus. And as I had mentioned to you earlier, my root locus is basically symmetrical about the x-axis. And if you see over here, my root locus, final root locus, is symmetrical about the x-axis. So if I have to again explain to you in short, you might have got a little confused. So don't worry, I'll give you summary about it. A root locus is a graphical representation and it is symmetrical about the x-axis as we saw. There are two conditions for root locus, that is the angle of g of s into h of s should be an odd multiple of 180 degree and the magnitude should be equal to 1. A numerical was given to me wherein I had g of s into h of s and they had told me to find out the value of s, whether it lies on the root locus or not. So I just put this value of s over here and I found out that it was having a odd multiple of 180 degree and hence it existed on root locus. And to find out the value of k, which is given in the question, I'll take the magnitude equal to 1 and try to find out the value of k. Then a question was given to me wherein I had to find out the root locus from this question. So basically what was happening is, in this question, I found out the value, number of poles, number of zeros. The number of branches was number of poles minus number of zeros, that is 3 minus 0 is 3. The branches will always start from the pole, will end at 0. Since there were 3 pole but no 0, my branches will start from the pole but will end at infinity since there are no 0 to terminate at. Plot the pole 0 plot and find out the number root locus region. The rule says if the number of zeros and pole to the right hand side of a particular pole or 0 is odd, then it is on the root locus, either it is not on the root locus. So in that case, I get the 0 and a pole concept. Then I have to find out the value of asymptotes. Asymptotes exist because I don't have a 0 and my value asymptote will go up to infinite. Hence, I'll try to find out the angle of asymptotes, which is given as 2q plus 1 into 180 degree upon p minus z. So my p is 3, z is 0. Try to find out the value. Try to find out the angles, which is given as over here. The centroid value will be given as by this formula. Try to find out the centroid value as well. If you want to find out the breakaway or break-in points, you have to see for this particular cases. What does this cases talk about? If there are 2 poles and the region between them exists on the root locus, there will be a breakaway point. If there are 2 zeros and the region between them exists on the root locus, there will be a break-in point. And if there is a 0 and the region towards the left hand side exists on the root locus, then there will be a breakaway point. I hope I am very clear with this. The next thing is to find out the value of the breakaway point. The method is given to you over here. To find out this value, get the value of s and the value of s for which my value of k is positive, that is a valid breakaway or a break-in point. Other value of s will not be a valid breakaway point. Then try to find out the value at which the root locus will be intersecting with the g omega axis. Try to find out this method by Routh-Hurwitz, and then if you haven't watched the video on Routh-Hurwitz or you don't know the meaning of Routh-Hurwitz, how to get this particular table, how to solve it, a video on Routh-Hurwitz is uploaded on my YouTube channel. You can go through it. And then there is this particular method in which we are trying to find out the value of my angle of departure and angle of my arrival. It is only applicable when my g of s into h of s has complex poles and 0. Since in this particular question it doesn't have complex poles and zeros, we cannot have angle of departure and arrival, but we will have it in the numerical that we are going to solve in the next video. So do not forget to watch that particular video also. By all this method, we are having this final root locus diagram. So if you have understood the video, please comment in the comment section, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram and hit the bell icon so that next time when a new video on root locus numerical will be going live with more complexity, you'll be able to watch it. So thank you so much. God bless you.